Of course, to talk more, we are being joined by our guest, Colin David B. Watches. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Let me begin by asking you, well, Mexico will send 10,000 members of its National Guard to the border to prevent the flow of fentanyl. Canada is implementing a $1.3 billion border plan. What kind of matrix will Trump be looking for to stave off putting off those tariffs in the 30 days that he's been given?
Hard to say. I think that he's looking more for the effort than actual results, at least from Canada. The amount of fentanyl coming in the United States from Canada is pretty low. I think last year they only seized 43 pounds, whereas it was 21,000 pounds coming from Mexico. I think that also Canada has recently seen an increase in migration to the United States, and historically that border is not only unpoliced, it's unpatrolled. So I think that he wants to see some sort of decrease, some sort of enforcement action in migrants coming from Canada to the United States. With Mexico, the issues are much clearer. They are, longstanding problems the United States has with Mexico. Mexico seems to be making a serious effort. The question is how effective it will be given the pervasive corruption in the Mexican forces.
Right. Now, you're also a defense and strategic expert. I wanted to know, how do you analyze Trump's use of tariff as probably a weapon when he's talking about national security? What kind of amalgamation was he looking for?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. So historically, tariffs are used for economic purposes. They're used to protect domestic industries. They're used to raise revenue. They're used to counter what are seen as unfair trade practices. What's unusual about this is that Trump is implementing these tariffs, and he certainly accuses some of the countries, particularly China, of unfair and illegal trade practices. But by and large, the beef with Mexico and Canada, predominantly Mexico, is over non-trade issues. It's really over border security. It's over illegal migration. Obviously it's a big stick given there is an asymmetrical economic relationship between the United States and Mexico and between the United States and Canada. Less so with China, so the tariffs are lower, and I think they'll have less of an effect on China if they actually go into force. Really, I think the big stick that has yet to be brought out for Mexico, and Mexico is really the problem here from Trump's perspective, would be taxing remittances that Mexicans, both legal and illegal in the United States, send back to Mexico. Those remittances are more than the Mexican tourism and oil industry combined. So I think that if we don't see some development here, that would probably be the next step.
Right. Talking about China, Trump has said that he will be talking to China. What about the European Union? I mean, he did call upon European Union, and he had plans for that as well.
Yeah, so with the European Union, our grievances and beefs are a little bit less. There's always concern about protectionism and the closing of European Union markets to some American products, particularly agricultural products. The European Union typically finds some sort of process we do that's different, then they find a catchy name that makes it sound like it's poison and denies the imports of these products. But the real issue there, we don't have like an illegal migration problem or a narcotics problem. The bigger issues are our common struggle for NATO, or the common effort to support Ukraine against Russia, where Trump, in common with most Americans, thinks that Europe is not doing enough. And certainly the numbers bear that out.
All right, I understand that. Of course, we'll be looking at how he reacts to China. Probably that's the next he will be talking about. But thank you so much for joining on the show and giving us your perspective.
It's an honor.